Okay, so I'll stop the share and hopefully
All right.
everyone is able to see her screen in a large size.
All right, great. Thank you so much for that introduction and for inviting me to do this for the first time, although you guys have done it for, I think you said 5 years so far. So I'm grateful. And since, you know, chair yoga is going to be something that we're introducing because we have this COVID environment. So we're all home or we're in an office with like not a lot of people there. And, you know, we're on Zoom calls, we're off of Zoom calls. So I like the fact that I moved up to the screen and I have my professional shirt on, but it doesn't mean the bottom is, you know, it's professional. And that's normal, you know, in a Zoom environment. But outside of that, you went through my whole introduction. That was accurate. One thing that I am happy about is that I'm going to add another training, and that's to help military veterans because they suffer from post-traumatic stress also. And a lot of veterans, you know, leave the military and go into the workforce. So with that said, yoga is for everyone. You know, when you think about hatha yoga, you just want to think about, you know, being peaceful, meditating, breathing the right way. Usually I do it at like 4 or 5 in the morning. You know, that's the best time for me. And it's actually the best time for a lot of executives, like in Center City, Philadelphia, because that's where I normally go in the morning because I've always worked in corporate America. So with that said, I won't go into too much discussion, but my belief about yoga and in the workforce and chair yoga, to make it very easy, because even the word vinyasa, it wasn't very familiar to you. So you're also not going to know the Sanskrit names for all the postures. So I won't go through that, but I'll just say you should do what feels good with your body when you are in the office and you make the decision to take a break, you know. And if you have your own office, then you could shut your door, right? And you could, and you can get very, very comfortable. Like for me, I won't take my shirt off, but normally I would if it's hot, because I studied the hot yoga method. So it starts at 105 degrees, and that's also because it's a healing yoga. So it'll get you just really charged up for everything that you experience at 9 a.m. You know, because, and you know, as an accountant or just anything you do in business, you experience a lot with all of the people you work with in corporate America. And even when you go outside to lunch, there's just a lot going on. So with that said, since you'll be at home, you might have access to more resources. You might have a home gym. You know, you might not. You might just have a regular standard chair. You might not have a chair or anything, and in that case, you would do it on the floor with a mat. But since this is a chair yoga, you should find anything in your house that will like substitute for a chair. You know, and I'm going to recommend you know, you find something small, like anything that could be a chair that you have, and you know how to do that. And you have something in your house or your apartment, your room that you can use, like even if you're traveling and you're on a Zoom call, so you want to do that. And if you could also, like, see how I'm sitting with my heels up, just sitting on my toes, start to learn to stretch your body the way you need to, for you. You know, like if you feel like your arms need it, then start to like do things like hold your arms out and then stand still in those postures so that you could feel the muscles. Like, you know, when you're getting a good stretch. So like with the 26-2 postures that I actually trained in, which Barkhan might not be a familiar name to you, but Bikram is. It's the same thing, or just regular hot yoga or 26-2, because they are standard postures. And then in addition to them being standard, there's modifications to all of the postures. Because you might think, wow, you just do 26 postures and that's going to heal you and that's going to be a benefit to your body and then wake you up all day and energize you to be able to work all the way through the end of your day. And yes, they will, because there's modifications. And then just to give you an idea of how many different modifications there could be, you can Google asanas or yoga postures. And on the internet, you'll find something that's like 2,100 asanas. And so that's a lot of yoga postures. And it's like a 500-page book. And it gives you the postures, the name, the modification, and you have like a visual aid or a picture of how to do it. So with regard to chair yoga, my favorite thing to use is this little thing right here. And it's called a feet up machine or feet up tool, whatever, or feet up trainer. And it's a chair, you know, because you can sit on it. So again, using that premise of whatever you have in your house that you can sit on that's stable, you know, I would get that. And I do have a chair like from my kitchen table. I have it here. Like if that was all you had. The reason I don't love this chair, but if it was what I had, I'd still use it, is because it wobbles. And when you start to get into some of the postures, you'll find that, you know, the chair might fall, you know, and if that's the case, if the chair is not strong enough for what you're doing and what your body is feeling, like what your body is demanding. Like if you were sitting all day, you're like, man, I was slouching and sitting at the computer. So your back is going to feel, you know, just uncomfortable. So then you want to stretch it. You want to sit up and do things like hold your feet up, things like that. Open your legs. You can do your scissors, just anything that's going to make your muscles, make you feel it in your muscles. You can do it slow, but when you do them, just stand still with them. Like hold it for like 2 or 3 minutes. Do things like that. Again, there's many postures that you can do depending on like target areas. For sitting, you could, you know, stretch your head down with that. Or you could bring it back, you know, and then bring your chest out and just as much as you can, and then drop your head back as much as you can, and then stay in that for like 60 seconds. Like that's great. And, you know, again, there's many postures that you can do, or asanas, I'll call them. And for anyone that wants me to maybe text them, because they don't feel like Googling, I can take a snapshot of all the postures you're doing here. I know you can't see it now, but I could do that. And this is using this feet up machine. And some people say, oh my goodness, that is so hard. And it's not hard, because there's a lot of postures that I cannot do. But if you think about when you were younger, or even now when you play with your children, if you have children, or your nieces and nephews, you run around, you are athletic. Even Daryl, I saw him dancing at the last NABA party, you know, so, and I didn't mean to point him out, but we do move around. And all of those movements are, you know, yoga and ways that we stretch. And if we close the door, we won't feel uncomfortable stretching in those positions, like opening up our legs or something. And then, you know, pulling our backs or you know, bending over to touch the floor and then just staying there in the postures. So those are some, and again, those are things that you you do based on how you feel. And you can do them slow in the beginning, but stay in those postures for like a little while, like 60 seconds, and then you'll find a benefit to it because like now I'm on my tippy toes. And I'm used to doing that because of the bar, which is like just ballet exercise. So I do that a lot, and then I will feel it in my calves. So just do whatever your body needs. And if you don't have the chair and you do have the feet up machine, which I love, and it's only $100, and I'm not trying to promote their machine, but it's just that it has so much, and it has such an easy diagram for you to follow, and it's easy to use. Like you could, when you're stretching out like this leg, anything, and I don't have to give you the names, but you just stay in postures. And this posture here is the good luck posture. So you would normally just go here, and it's good luck. And you would just open up your hips and legs as much as you can. Always point your toe, and you're not going to be where I am, or maybe you're more advanced, maybe you're not. But you would just do any stretching that you feel good doing, that you actually felt. You felt it, you know, like that. But for this machine, which I love, because it has these grips here, you can just get right into it. And I'll just sample really quick, just so you can see how easy it is. It's like super easy. You just put your head there, and then you just like lift right up on it. And then when you're in it, you can do all kinds of things, you know, and it's just absolutely amazing, you know. So, and even though it might look hard, it really is not. So I just want to make sure you guys understand that. And because it's done in the comfort of your own home, you'll be more relaxed doing it. So, and it always, because it's mindfulness and wellness, you do want to do your breathing exercises. And that's where that Kundalini breathing came in, and that trains you to belly dance, because you'll be pulling your stomach in. But regardless of that, you can almost hear that I'm a little winded. When you are winded, you do want to stop, but just like Albina was saying, go rest. And I understand her saying that, but if you have a deadline, you might rest for a minute, but you have to get some coffee or something, because you have to meet that deadline, and there's no exceptions. So in that case, you want to stretch. You know, you want to do whatever you can do to keep you awake, even if it's like just opening your legs and moving around, just holding, you know. And when you play with those muscles, you wake up, trust me. And it's not like you're in a gym, you know, pumping, bodybuilding, because you won't have to do that. But just stretching, it's a light way of waking your body up slowly. And again, that's why I do it at about 6 in the morning, because it's peaceful, it's quiet, and as soon as you get up, you're like, man, I feel great, let's work. So does anyone have any questions? Or do you want me to display something more?
I'll monitor the chat for any questions, not anything yet.
Was that 15 minutes?
Yes, we got to 15 minutes. We're about to close out the program, but I will leave the floor open for just a little bit more, just to see if anyone has any questions about chair yoga, or even if you would like to do a quick 30-second move in the chair, since we're all in chairs right now. I think that might be helpful, just so someone has like a starting point before we transition into the closeout.
Absolutely. Let's do, let's just, Just lift our hands up, like come up here. And cup your arms or your biceps to your ears. And then bend over like a clock. Posture straight up, but then straight over to the right side like your clock. Stay there for about 1 minute. Arms shooting out, just like you were shooting to the moon, like you were a half moon, and that's what it's called, half moon. And then come out of it, put your arms straight up in the air, keep them up. And I know you can't see them all, but you have an idea. My hands are cupped together, my thumbs are crossed, and my palms are together, if you can see them. My palms are together. So, and then you would come over to the left, and just bend over and stay in it, and just breathe normally through your nose with your mouth closed. And if it hurts, then don't bend as much. Come back up, like to about 11 o'clock, because we're to the left. And then when you're done, come straight up again. And then you could just drop yourself down with a flat back and touch the ground with your toes. And just rest with your head dangling. Just rest. Your body dead body weight. But the fact that your chest is touching your legs, that's very good while you're in a chair. And then it will help you when you actually stand up and do it. And then do another posture where you're lifting your leg and then, and then extending your foot with it. You know what I mean? So it helps. But you would start in a chair if that's what you want. If you're advanced enough to do it standing up, definitely do that prior to coming to work. And then when you're at work all day, stuck in your chair, then you would close your door or do it in your cubicle, do the chair yoga. And again, I'll text anyone if you send me a message. I'll text you all of the pictures of the asanas, or you can just Google them. And it's just stretching. Okay?
Okay. All right, great. Thank you so much,
Last
Nicole,
thing.
for going through that.
These socks are cool too, because they have a rubber bottom. Because you do not want to fall,
Yes. Very important not to fall, so we could still report to work every day. All right, thank you, Nicole. We're going to go ahead and proceed through the program. We only have just a few minutes left, so I just want to take the opportunity to finish out our slide deck. So thank you to everyone.